Yeah, it was really good. Welcome back, fans, listeners, enemies, if there are any.
Presenters.
Why did you look at me?
No, I didn't look at you specifically, but interesting that you felt seen when I said that. Anyways, that's a discussion for another day. So, episode 109 today. The crew back together, Keith, Tyler, and Lisa. And I thought we kick us off with a little two truth and a lie as traditional, but a World Cup edition because we have starting something. Is it starting today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, right?
Your guess is as good as mine. Tyler?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh boy, this ought to be a stumper.
I'm more
boy.
worried about NHL playoffs than I am.
Okay.
World Cup.
Anyways, whatever. We have a kickoff of the World Cup, and the U.S. is the primary host country next to Canada and Mexico. So a little World Cup / finance edition. So the jobs report that came out last week on Friday showed an increase in hospitality and leisure hiring. This increase can be partly explained by the World Cup. B, prediction markets Kalshi and Polymarket have already recorded more than 10 billion in wagers for the World Cup specifically. Or C, the World Cup winner often sees a short-term rise in its stock market after a victory. Historically, the winner outperforms the global market by 3.5% in the first month after the win. Keith, you look suspicious. I start with you.
Suspicious? That's more puzzled. That's the look I look. Unfortunately, I'm not a big soccer person, so this is.
I tried to make it finance related, at least.
You did. I'm gonna jump in with B. The prediction markets, Kalshi, and Poly markets, 10 billion. Yeah, that sounds good to me. That's true. Reports last week showed hospitality. I think it did, but I don't know if it increases by the World Cup. That seems a little. I'm saying that's false. And then that random thing about the stock market, which I find that puzzling because I assume some countries don't have necessarily stock markets. So, but I'm going to say that's going to be true. So I'm still staying with A is false.
A, okay. Tyler?
You're going with A?
Yeah, I'm just a pure. Yeah, I went with A. You heard me.
Okay.
Tyler now makes a whole different analysis on that again. Tyler, fast, please.
Jobs report, leisure hiring, yes. World Cup, I would agree with that. You just need people in general. There's a lot of people coming, so hospitality, leisure, that makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe she's trying to.
She's tricking us on part of the thing
stuff,
is what's my
That's
guess.
all I do is tricking you.
That's it.
$10 billion in wagers. That I mean, I can get behind that. Kalshi and Polymarket have skyrocketed in terms of like people betting, so I can believe that. 3.5% in the first month just for winning the World Cup. I think that's a bit much. So we're going with C.
So I think she's trying to trick us on that.
I know,
but
I'm going with C.
All right.
That's my win of the day. I got you both.
It's B?
Yes.
Really?
B is the lie.
Wow.
So A is true. There was, and we talk a little bit about that in a minute, a pickup in hospitality and leisure hiring. Obviously, not all of that can be attributed to the World Cup.
That's
but
where I thought you were
it
trying
can
to
be
trick us.
explained partly. That's why I said this increase can be partly explained. Anyways.
I got to read this a little closer, Tyler.
Then C is correct. I found a study from, not a study, but an analysis from 2014. We only have a World Cup every 4 years. That the winning country actually sees a pickup in its, not so much the host country as the winning country.
Three data points.
Whatever. You see a short
2014.
You see a short-term boost. Okay, I can see a
2018,
short-term
2022.
boost.
What are we?
Anyways.
One, Tyler.
So in prediction markets, Kalshi and Polymarket have already recorded, and mind you, it didn't start yet. It's about 2 billion. as of yesterday.
Oh,
so that's probably
so
more
it is
today,
2
but as of
billion.
yesterday. But it's expected the last so prediction markets, the last World Cup was about 35 billion globally, and it's expected to be 50 billion this time. I mean, now we have Kalshi and Poly market, so it's a little bit more easy for people to bet on it anyway. So
Yep.
it should be a new record on that, but 2 billion so far as of yesterday.
Can you do that in the US still?
What's that?
Poly market and Kalshi?
I thought you could, but I'm not on there. I know they're trying to get rid of it. I don't know if they did officially, did they? It's probably in certain things that you can't maybe bet on.
Hmm.
I think that's another good question.
Might
Lisa,
have
are you a World Cup person?
That's what I wanted to ask you. Are you watching it? Or I am,
no.
As a European, obviously, I should do it because soccer is the main game over there. But I don't really care about it that much, to be honest.
Yeah, soccer's
So
high school we used to watch it quite a bit and play.
Really?
Like Xbox, they had FIFA World Cup.
mhm.
So we used to do that quite a bit. So I used to watch it, but
I found it interesting that the US is the host country because it's not as big here, right? Of a sport or of an interest. I mean, you have so much other stuff. You have like basketball, baseball, football is big, right? And over there, it's basically soccer for the summer. The summer sport is Formula One. Yeah, and soccer. There's nothing else, right? We don't have all of these different diverse sports events like the US has. So that's a European thing is soccer. So it's interesting that the US is hosting.
Yeah, I'm not a soccer person, so I strongly encourage my kids not to participate. I gave them a lot of other options.
So you actively boycotted soccer.
My wife and I each had kind of a thing of you could kind of
do everything except soccer.
Yeah, it wasn't hers. Wasn't soccer. Hers was like a dance or something like that for the girls. But it was like it was kind of the unofficial, not official.
Okay.
So we exposed our kids a lot of different things to see what they liked.
Yeah,
the exposure was not to
soccer,
except for soccer.
Okay,
put it that
dancing. And so you were not really interested in it. So is there a country that you're rooting for, or that you're more interested in seeing than others?
USA.
Be reasonable, Tyler. Be reasonable.
Austria.
Well, Austria.
Is Austria even in it?
Well, Tyler, I will enlighten you on this topic. So that's as far as I know. So Austria qualified for the World Cup. Their home base is Santa Barbara. So I think they did a win on choosing their home base while they're here. I think I think the expectations from the Austrian team is very humble. The win for Austria is that they qualified for the World Cup.
Awesome.
That's the win. We play like the first game that we play is Argentina. So that will already be
Argentina
like completely obliteration.
Right? Yeah, that's messy. So like Argentina, Netherlands.
Oh, look at you,
France.
So you pay enough attention.
I pay a little bit of it. Yeah, I follow it.
How many teams are in it? Anybody answer that?
48 countries, I believe. I think it's the most countries that ever participated this time.
But like Germany's usually a pretty good team.
Germany's
but like
good.
France, Netherlands, and Argentina are the.
But I'm Austrian. I cannot say that Germany is good because
that's just against the rules.
Just against
I may watch a little bit. My niece, she plays D1 soccer, so it's. And then Justin here, our video guy, he's very soccer, so I do ask him about soccer. He was giving me the rundown. He said U.S. should make it out of their bracket, but then that's about it.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's like Austria. The first game is already
done.
I mean,
well, isn't the first couple games round robin?
Yeah, so he thinks they'll get out of the round robin pool, whatever the U.S. is in. They should get out of it, and then
USA should.
Yeah,
but wasn't 4 years ago? Didn't the U.S.
barely did, or someone had their bag?
Yeah,
come on, the U.S. is just not
because then there's like
good.
A big.
Yeah,
but you're so good in all of the other sports. It's like you're allowed to be not good in one.
All right, we better change gears before we get on the sports fan of soccer like these guys.
Anyways, so I'm also not from a big soccer. I mean, not that Austria is any good. I mean, they're not bad either. So don't get me wrong, but not World Cup worthy. Anyways,
it's hard when you're a small country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you see a video? There was like a video.
Change subject.
Well, I have to tell you that real quick, and then we meandered around enough. There's videos, when fans are lining up or people are lining up when they actually land the different national teams, and they're rolling their suitcases, the team, and goes into their hotel and stuff, and they were fans or random people lining up for the Austrian team, and ladies completely lost it. They were screaming at them, "Oh my God, are you single? Tell me who is single." And these videos went viral, and the Austrian boys are completely like, what is going on? Get me out of here. So anyways, that was a fun reel from that
Is
side.
it Austrian women or US
No,
women?
it was US women. Kind of, just fans or random people just standing there and watching the, soccer players come along, and they were not comfortable. So cute. Anyways, let's change gears a little bit to some more substance after 10 minutes of meandering around. So anyone that is still with us, it gets a little bit more finance related now. So some random topics today that I thought we get it together. I mean, this week is big on SpaceX IPO. We talked heavily about that last week. And we for sure talk about that Friday, yep. And we will for sure talk about that over the next couple of weeks when they kind of went IPO'd already. So I thought we'd change gears a little bit today. And let's talk about the jobs report that we received last Friday, as well as CPI inflation that we received just hot off the press this morning. Last week, unemployment rate held steady at 4.3%. But what was very interesting, we had upward revisions in jobs created for the prior 2 months heavily. And also for May, it came in above expectations, which was good, right? Because Keith, can you explain a little bit of why this is so closely watched? Because we had a little worry child with the labor market the prior couple of months, and that seemed to completely have turned now.
Yeah, everybody's worried that the labor market was kind of collapsing, and now I think we're holding steady. I think it's not wonderfully, too hot where, everybody's got a job and job hopping around, but I think people want a job, have a job, and unemployment at 4.3 is fine. You just worry about that unemployment goes down, inflation's going up, and then the Fed's kind of in a tough spot, right? And I think employment's holding fine at 4.3%. The jobs number added was better, which is good. The biggest fear is AI. I mean, we're about to drag AI into this conversation again, is that AI is going to eliminate jobs, less jobs, then it's more, problems in the economy and But actually, 4.3%, I think the 25-year median average is 5.1. The 50-year low is at 3.4. 4.3, I think is fine. I think we're going to range.
And it has steady over the last 3 months, I believe.
Yeah, it's right on there, because everybody's worrying that 4.3 is going to 4.8 to 5 to 5.5. That becomes very problematic. So I think that's why it's such a keenly watched number.
And Tyler, we also see some, and we talked about this in the truth and the lie. We see some little broadening out in what sectors are actually creating those jobs. Because we basically came from end of last year, basically zero job creation or zero new jobs, or very low, back to full swing, it seems. And I mean, the healthcare sector is still, taking most of the heavy lifting here, but we see some broadening out. And is that healthy for the overall labor market?
Broadening out, yeah. So we've talked a little bit about my idea on 3 rate cuts this year from the Fed. So a lot of that comes from stop.
He still is not giving up on his 3 rate cuts.
So the market's pricing in at a quarter basis point hike.
But now Tyler is like, nope.
A lot of that comes from the unemployment rate and where the jobs are actually being added. And it's always been healthcare for the last probably 6 months. Has mainly been healthcare and government. And that's not what you want to see. So do I think this changes things? Not really. It's nice to see some broadening out, but I also think part of it is, like, the leisure and hospitality is literally due to the World Cup and the staff that the hotels and restaurants and whatever else around those areas need to hire to take the traffic that they're going to be getting. So I think this is generally a one-time thing, but to Keith's point, like, you're not seeing a lot of hiring, but you're not seeing a lot of firing. So like what a lot of companies are doing now with AI is, if you want to hire somebody, it's, well, can this job be done with AI, and what can we do first with AI before we actually need to hire? So companies are being hesitant. So the true like leisure hospitality, you obviously can't have AI do that job for you. We don't have robots yet. So I think it's good to see, but do I think it changes things? Not really. I think when we start to get to the July, August, September numbers, I think you start to see some revisions downward, and you start to see some.
Do you think unemployment gets to like 5%, or?
I don't think we get to 5%. I think you probably jump up to like that 4.5%, but I don't think you see what you're seeing here now from last month. I just don't think you start to see the broadening out. I think it narrows in again. Because then there's also concern on healthcare workers and some of the Medicare stuff, and can the hospitals continue to? Who did we have in office? I can't remember who I was chatting with, but they brought this point up on healthcare and hospitals and the budgets for hospitals are going to be going down because of Medicare and the inability to service if you need any type of surgery, like the cost for that versus what the Medicare is going to cover is going to be minimal. And so you start putting off some of these surgeries, and hospitals don't have the budget. Are they going to let them have the surgeries? Are they not?
Especially elective stuff, right?
Yeah. So I think you start to see healthcare employment dwindle, I think, but I don't think you get to the 5%. I think it probably goes up from here, but I don't think the broadening out continues to happen. And that's what I think the Fed is going to focus on versus inflation.
Lisa, what are your?
Which brings me to inflation, because we already heard like so are you still like in the camp of 3 rate cuts then? Oh, he holds firm.
Mm-hmm.
So Keith,
He'll change by December.
So Keith, we got a new inflation report today as well, CPI, Consumer Price Index, and the Federal Reserve uses more PCE, but CPI is usually the more broadcasted because it comes out a little bit earlier, and it's the first number that we get from the prior month. And headline CPI is at 4.2%, so the first time we see a 4 again in 3 years.
Last month was 3.8.
3.8.
Yeah. So it came in line with expectations. Core actually also a little bit higher than last month, 2.9 versus 2.8 in April, but actually below expectations a little bit. So what are we seeing with inflation going on? So what is with the pressure that we are seeing here, and what does it actually mean for the Fed? Because we have a Fed meeting next week, which is also very interesting because it will be a new person doing the press conference. Will be probably heavily watched because of that to begin with, and then because of the spot the Fed is currently in with inflation, labor market. So can you tell a little bit about inflationary pressures and what it means?
I think most of the inflation is coming from energy, oil prices. Obviously, I think the conflict with Iran is probably dragging on a little longer than a lot of people wanted, or even if they wanted it. It's pushing up oil prices, which, again, we've talked almost every episode of how important oil prices are. If they remain elevated, that's passes through the economy. They have this thing called the forward curve. I'm sure Tyler can get into that here about where oil prices will be in 3-6 months. It's slower than where it is now. But the problem is, if this conflict continues to go on, seems like for the last few weeks, everybody says, or at least Trump was saying, we're getting close to a deal. And it seems as of this recording, where it seems like we're going the other direction now, which could put some pressure on oil. The WTI, the one that we look at here in the U.S., is around $90 a barrel. I think sub 90.
It came down a little bit because traffic is increasing through the street, but that was before started
right before the potential attacks now. So that being said, I think that's putting that upward pressure on inflation, and that's where the Fed, I think, is in a tough spot. Even if you think unemployment's going up, like maybe Tyler's thinking, that inflation is also potentially going up, which they don't want to. The 2022 is kind of the recent disaster scenario where,
they're too slow.
Too slow inflation. It's 9.1, 9.2 of June of 2022. Markets are in a hot mess. Consumers are under pressure. This is not a good sign. So that's why I think their focus is shifted. I think Tyler kind of alluded to that, from jobs to inflation. And inflation, I think, is a little stickier than what we'd like to see it. I don't think it's going to 2. We said that before the year, that wasn't going to 2. Now you throw on this price of oil, upward pressure, you're probably in the 3s. I think it comes down from these levels in a couple months, but we'll see.
Where are you with rate cuts versus hikes versus pause for the rest of the year?
Well, I'd
That's
saying that's been the running joke debate between Tyler and I. I've been saying nothing all year, so
yeah, I'm also in the camp of pause. I don't
yeah.
think they will necessarily do the hiking.
I don't think they're going to do the hike.
Nah,
I think they're
that is
farther
a
from
bigger step from now, but I think they will not.
the market.
There might be one cut depending on what happens in Iran over the next couple of months and with inflation, but I cannot see 3.
The market's
But I might be wrong. I mean,
coming into Zero's pricing around 3,
Mhm.
2 to 3. Now it's pricing a rate hike,
Mhm.
1. I don't think if I had to bet one way or the other between now and year end, it's a cut versus a
Yeah,
hike.
yeah.
If I had to push me one way or the other there.
Yeah, I don't think a hike, but I might be one cut, but I think a pause. But 3 cuts is why are you still thinking 3 cuts, Tyler?
Lisa can't get
let's
over
go
this.
that. I can't get over this.
Well, you want me to get on my soapbox here, or?
Make it short.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Short.
Well, so if you look at CPI, a lot of it is coming from oil. The Fed looks more at core than anything, right? They don't. If the Fed were to hike, their levers they can pull doesn't affect oil prices or food prices. So no matter what they do, it's not going to change. Like if they were to hike, it's not going to change the economy and the fact that it's going to slow it down enough to impact the inflation rate, right? You're still going to see oil prices elevated because it's all about the war in Iran. Food prices are going to be elevated because fertilizer prices, 60% of the urea comes out of Middle East. So like there's nothing that they can do to change that. And all of that has an implication in the core goods. So you start looking into the impact on core goods. Yes, they could slow down the economy, but it's not going to affect the actual prices of the goods that we're buying because oil goes into those goods. So the headline CPI at 4.2, they have little effect on that because of oil prices. The core goods inflation, they have little impact on that because it's the oil that's going into the products. So I think their focus is more on the unemployment rate right now. And you're not getting a lot of like we talked about a little bit ago, you're not getting the broadening out of jobs and hiring that the Fed would want to see. And so in order to get the economy going and get companies to start hiring, they need to lower interest rates. And so that's really what their focus, I think, is going to be more on than what the actual inflation rate is. So the 3 cuts really comes from where does Trump want interest rates to be? He obviously wants them lower. Where does the Fed want the economy to be? Yes, we're still getting decent economic growth, but we're not getting enough that I think it continues. If we keep the status quo, I think you start to see the GDP growth rate start to fall. And so in order to spur that growth rate, you need to have hiring, you need to have wage growth, you need to have a lot of those things to get the economic growth that you're looking for. And so maybe there's 2 cuts, but I think with the new regime, and as much as we say that he's not a Trumpite kind of guy and staying independent, I think there's some behind
Yeah.
closed doors pressure that we need to have some dovish type of Fed.
Okay. So 2 to 3. I heard from that.
I'm still sticking with 3, but I think at a minimum you get 2, but I still think there'll be 3.
Right.
Just like we've had the last 2 years.
Mhm.
At the back half of the year, you get the 25, 25, 25 in the last 3 meetings.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yep. we follow back up who was right or who was close or whatever. So another topic that I wanted to touch on real quick today. Apple just had its yearly worldwide developer conference. And Tyler, you are heavily watching this or following this,
Yeah.
as far as I know. It was also a special one because it was the last one for Tim Cook.
Tim Apple.
Tim
Wow.
Apple. Before he hands over to John Ternos later this year, because Tim Cook steps down as the CEO. So investors overall were not really impressed by what was said on the conference. Usually it said there's, new developments coming out, obviously, as the name suggests, new hyped products and all of that. It was not really a lot of that. So investors were not impressed. Tyler, can you give us a little bit rundown of what were the expectations probably, and what did we get?
Well, usually at WWDC, they release their next and best iOS software. And
Software, not hardware.
software, yeah.
Right. Yep.
So September is usually the hardware, right before they launch the new iPhones. But WWDC, like, it just wasn't the problem with, we talked about it last week, where we talked about CapEx, AI, and Apple really isn't in that game. And I think that's what investors were looking for, is what is Apple going to be doing in the AI space? And really all you got was an upgrade to Siri. But I feel like nobody
45th time.
nobody really uses Siri.
Yeah.
So I actually think it'll be good for Apple, like integrating AI, because one thing that Apple is good at is integrating everything. And once you get on the Apple ecosystem, you can't really leave. And so if you start upgrading Siri to the point where it's like an AI agent on your phone, having, like, once it starts learning your typical day, I think it starts understanding the recommendations it should make for you on your calendar and your emails. And so I think it is a good step for Apple, but I think investors were looking for more AI
Meat on the
pop,
bone.
like for them to come out with their
Mhm.
own AI agent, like a Gemini or a ChatGPT or a Claude, which Apple's just not investing in it.
Keith, you're invested in Apple,
Mhm.
in a couple of our GI portfolios. What did you think? Is that maybe, like Tyler suggests, maybe that they're latching onto someone else for AI development, and they're not in the immediate heat of the whole AI forefront development like all of the others, because they're using Gemini, so Google's AI, for Siri and for their own integration? Do you think that can be maybe a benefit, that they're just latching onto someone else versus developing in-house? Or is that really, would that be necessary to really have that edge as well?
Yeah, I mean, let's start big picture. Apple, own it, like it.
But it has been a really good stock.
It's been a good stock. I
Like-
think that's part of the reason the sell-off here.
Yeah,
And
I
again,
think a lot of what was priced in, a
It's
little
up
bit more hype.
50% in the last.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I think
2
part was
months.
up is because it was a safer way of playing AI without having the CapEx.
Mm-hmm.
But
We talked about this last week.
yeah, and then so they're spending $13 billion. Everybody else is spending
Yeah.
10-fold that, 20-fold that, and
Mhm.
it's like, okay, so others are probably spending too much, but I think they're probably spending too little. And then what kind of is comical about Apple is this series has been, they should have owned the space. Siri should have been not even a question. If you're right, Tyler, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, they own it.
Mhm.
It's hard to get out. They do everything great other than Siri. Siri's just been a complete flop.
Mhm.
Remember last year, all the
Well,
excitement
when did they
that.
come out with Siri? Like 2016?
So I mean, it's been
I
terrible.
disabled it from my phone. I do not want to even have it. It's
Really?
like, yeah,
Jeez.
because
so bad you disabled it.
I disabled her. But it's like no one really used it. I think a lot of people tried
Yeah.
long enough to get this thing going, or to use it how Apple kind of advertised it, that what it should be capable of.
Yeah.
But it never came anything from
No,
it.
and that's why it's disappointing. And I think that's why investors, like, the stock ran up into this event expecting something more significant, I think, on the AI development. But all they got is a partnership with Gemini, which is Google's. And it's like, remember a year ago, everybody thought Google was dead, with Gemini was nothing. And now you got Apple kind of, like, to your phrase, latching on to a third-party vendor for their AI stuff. But I if you're in the ecosystem, they should be able to develop something like a Siri that makes you laid it out easy. It's like, make your life a lot easier. They have all your stuff. They have all your information. They should be able to do something better than what they
Although
have.
one thing Apple does very well
Privacy
is latch onto something
Yeah.
and then create their own.
Oh yeah, make it better. More
But the thing is also where I thought, I mean, there was a lot of disappointment with that, because I think no one can hear Siri anymore, because it was such a disappointment over the last couple of years, and they tried multiple times to revive that. But I think what could be different now, because Siri gets a real overhaul this time, and also the capabilities will be different of it, because it will act more like a separate chatbot.
That's what I mean. It
Yeah.
already it has all the info, so it's going to
Should have
start.
it all,
It's going
yeah.
to start to be
And
that
it's-
agentic basically what
Should
it
be an
should be is
assistant,
an
yeah.
assistant
Yeah.
for you and tell
In
you where
life.
you need to go, tell you what you need to do.
Right. And it's already there on your phone. Like you said,
Mhm.
it's integrated with everything. It knows everything about you. You do not have to tell it separately, hey, go there and there, or plug it up with your systems. And it's already right there, right? As a chatbot. So it can have, if it's executed well and if it works this time, it can work better maybe at the end of the day than Anthropic or ChatGPT, because you have to go into an extra app. It has to learn your history and all
Yep.
of that first. Whereas Siri can, even though it's now the last to the game here, to get out with something, but at least it has a huge advantage of your data already.
Here's
in
where
your
I
history.
think Siri starts going is depending on how much information you have, like in a calendar invite. What I think Siri should be able to do, and I think where Apple's going with it, is you get a calendar invite from XYZ to do this meeting, and then based on the information, it goes and searches the web, and then prior to the meeting, it gives you a overview of here's the questions you should ask, here's what you should be talking about. Like it partnering with Gemini, I think is smart from Apple, because they can get an understanding of how does their model work, and then they can start building it out with less CapEx. But I think the way it's going is it will literally say, here's your overview, here's the things you need to be doing. Oh, by the way, this post on your Facebook account or Instagram account, like here's something you should be looking at, like stuff like that. Like the more you feed Siri, the more it learns you, and the more it can truly be an assistant for you.
But it's not only an assistant who tells you what to do, it can do stuff for you. That is where they are going. Make reservations for you,
respond
write
to emails.
emails for you. So it should be really that assistant down the road rather than just
I think
tell
that's
you.
where it's going.
Yeah.
It's just taking a lot longer than
Tyler, leave work a little early to go pick up your son to go to soccer, whatever that.
Siri, pick up my son.
Get an
Not there yet.
or get an Uber driver to
Get
go
an
pick
Uber
him
driver,
up.
yeah. Okay, well, interesting. Let's see how that.
Got any fun stuff to talk about here at the end?
Yes, we do have some fun stuff, because the Pickers Market team is getting a little sunshine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith,
Where are we going?
Do you wanna
Sure.
tell our listeners what we are doing? And
Yeah, we have an event called the Gala, which we end up inviting our top group of advisors down to Mexico this year. We have a random location. Last year it was Quebec, right?
Quebec, yep.
Yeah, it was great up there. So we kind of do some domestic, some international.
Places
so
that you probably wouldn't normally stay at.
Yeah, but actually been to this. It's right.
You have, yeah.
Riviera Maya, so just south of Cancun. Beautiful resort.
Look at him brag.
No, well, I took our family there. It was we found it on the cheap. Anyway, deep into the web was how I found that one. But anyway, we're going to Mexico to celebrate our advisors and their success their stories have. So it's great. Lisa, how many advisors were you inviting down there?
I think it's a top 200 or 250.
250. X the top 30.
Yeah.
Because the top 30 are going to another event, which is called the Grand Gala, which is 1 month later. And the lucky one to attend this one is Keith of the team. And that will be, that is another event a month later for the top 50 then. So Costa Rica this year, next year I think is Iceland. So some fantastic international destinations too. So
Tyler, are you looking forward to Mexico?
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be hot.
That's only
Mexico really isn't like somewhere I'd tend to go in.
Maybe not this
June,
time of the year either, because it's like June.
I mean, I can't complain.
No.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It's awesome. And also the advisors bring their families and kids.
Have you've been to Mexico, right?
Once in Tulum though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is not too
It's
down
not
the
too far.
coast.
It's a little bit more north or south. No,
Tulum
it's more
is south.
Yeah, south. Yeah,
another
not our
45
south,
minutes,
I think. Yeah.
something like that.
So yeah, it's good for us to build relationships with our advisors, and then meet also their family and kids and people they are bringing. So it's great. So it's 5 days for us, and And yeah, I think it's a little different business trip, which is fantastic.
It's
right?
work.
It's
I
not-
mean, it's not
It's
like
work, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it is.
I'm really looking forward to it. Only thing, to Tyler's point, if we could move this event into like a February or March,
we will be melting by next year, like
Yeah,
all
it's-
the people from the north.
But it
But-
always seems like every year it's when you're in the hot place, because we open it up to voting for
Mhm.
where
Our
where,
advisors
where
vote on it.
advisors want to
Advisors are
go.
choosing, yeah.
And it's like when you're in the hot place during the summer, everybody wants to go to the cooler place.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the cooler place, then you want to go to the hot place. And so it seems to,
It seems to
Flip-flop,
alternate
yeah.
every year, yeah. Mm-hmm.
because like last year was Quebec.
Mm.
So then we were in Quebec. People voted for
Quebec was
Mexico.
neat. Those are places that you probably
It was
wouldn't.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a little rainy. The weather-wise wasn't
Yeah.
the ideal, but
Still
other
got
than-
out there.
Yeah.
Grabbed a poncho from
Yeah,
from the hotel
walk
and
around and
walked
it's a
around and
very
Yeah.
cool. This will be great for relaxing if advisors are bringing their family because it's a cool. I brought one probably 10 years ago, so my kids were 14, 12, and maybe 9 or something like that. They absolutely loved it. So I hope some advisors got that same kind of age group of kids
Yeah.
because you see wild monkeys and just kind of it's a lot of walking. It's spread out. It's beach activities. There's
But I think it's an
golf.
ecological resort,
it's-
so
it's
it's
neat
very
and-
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be sitting by the pool too much, unfortunately.
No, so a lot of Tyler's got a couple of golf things going, and Lisa, were you
I'm
doing a
doing-
catamaran?
So I'm signed up for the volleyball on Monday,
Yeah,
and
I think I am
Tuesday I'm
too.
the snorkeling. So yeah, kudos to our events and travel
Yeah,
team.
they
They're
do a
Yeah.
fantastic
really
job.
they're doing a fantastic job. So it's not only that we're bringing our advisors and some employees down there, we have really like packed schedule for them, like really fun things for them to do there as well. So we just don't let them out there and out of
Yeah.
sight, out of mind. So we really have them do fun stuff there. And
Yeah,
have a
no,
full
it's
plan
a
of
reward
what
trip
we're
for them,
doing.
so that
Yeah.
we gotta remember.
Yeah, they earned it.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
rightfully so, they should enjoy it.
But being if all three of us are gone next week,
Yeah.
what does that mean for the Pickers Market?
Well,
Lisa?
unfortunately, that means for the Pickers Market that
why don't we do one
from the
in
beach,
Mexico.
from the beach?
maybe we'll have to talk to Justin when we're down
Let's talk
there.
to Justin about that.
Okay.
See if
Yeah.
we.
So maybe we'll do an
Maybe
on-site
we'll
one
do
right in the.
maybe
on the
we will.
beach.
Maybe you will see one next week. Maybe not. So
Because what time's the business meeting on Wednesday?
Yeah, no, we have Tuesday and Thursday, so there would be a Wednesday. So we'd have a possibility to do it. We could always do it on Tuesday as well. We could
and the
do it.
camera is already there because Justin
Yeah.
brings camera and stuff. Anyways,
maybe.
We-
How about
we
that
might-
in the
we might.
ocean in the background?
we might
Not
wanna
a bad
dis-
setting.
Well, okay. So, anyways,
Pickers Market
we're
goes
We'll-
international.
We'll think about it. We'll think about
we're
it.
either back next week from the beach or the week after, probably with a little suntan, or Lisa with probably a sunburn. Anyway, however it is, we will be back very soon. Thank you so much for joining us today. And don't forget to like and subscribe.